Good morning, my beautiful Recovered on Purpose family. It is great to see you on this wonderful Monday morning. We've got a new week, it's a new you, and we have so much to do this week. I love y'all so much. So today it's called Rise and Thrive, Progressing in Every Area of Your Life. And we're going to talk about 3 ways that we can continue to progress in our life and recovery and how to feel accomplished while we do so. Love y'all so much. Enjoy the show and keep living Recovered on Purpose.
The black represents the darkness from which we came. The white represents the light in which we now live. And the red represents the passion it takes to live Recovered on Purpose.
Good morning, everybody. It is great to see you. It is a wonderful Monday morning. I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for this week. There's a lot of things coming up that I'm super excited about. And today we're talking about how to continue to feel the feeling of accomplishment, because a lot of us, in our lives, when we found recovery from drugs and alcohol, we worked so long, we worked so hard on being able to find that freedom. And it was like the first thing in our adult life that we had truly accomplished. And how do we continue to progress? How do we continue to have that feeling of accomplishment? Because when we are resting on our laurels and that original freedom, right? That original work that we put in, we start to digress in our life and recovery, and we'll lose the feeling of progress. We'll lose the feeling of joy and the feeling of happiness in our life and recovery. So we're going to talk about 3 ways to feel accomplished and continue to progress. And if you're a 12-stepper, obviously you know that the 12 steps and the program is a program of progress, never of perfection. And something that I've really recognized in my life and recovery is that that's actually where the happiness lies. The happiness, the joy, the fulfillment lies in the progress of our program, the progress of our life, and not the things that we are trying to get to happen. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. So number one way to feel accomplished and to continue to progress in your life, do at least one thing every single day that you are that you know is 100% for you. Do one thing every day that you know is 100% for you. Whether it's something that is going to help you progress in your career, in your vocation, your avocation, if you are progressing spiritually, if you're progressing personally, mindset, personal development, things like that. Do one thing every single day that's just for you. And by doing this, if you are reading a book, 10 pages of a book every day that you know that you want to read, you want to do this thing, you're going to continue to feel like you are doing something for yourself. And it's okay to do things for yourself in your recovery. I know that we are working towards being selfless, which is, the ultimate goal. We're doing things to help people. But when we are taking care of ourselves and we're doing that self-care, we are becoming someone that is able to show up for people way better. We're able to show up for people out there that are hurting, that need our help in a better, more powerful way when we're taking care of ourselves. And this is going to be something that is, also for your desires. Like, are you trying to start to play a sport that you always wanted to play, or you're trying to get back into a hobby that you used to do, or, something that is good for you personally? And make sure that you're doing one thing every single day. So, for instance, again, read 10 pages of a positive book. Exercise is extremely helpful to continue to feel like you are progressing and you're working on yourself. Go for a walk and listen to your favorite podcast. When you literally intentionally go on a 15, 20, 30-minute walk, just to go on a walk and just to listen to a podcast, just to listen to an audiobook, you are actually telling yourself that I am worth this time, that I'm going out to do this for me. I'm going out intentionally to do this. And then you could also do breath work. If you guys have not practiced or tried out breath work, go onto YouTube and just look for, you can look for Wim Hof, WIMHOF, beginner 7-minute breath work, something like that. And what it does is it intentionally brings you into a place where you are totally in your body. You're oxygenating your blood, you're oxygenating your muscles, you're really feeling it. And when you get really good at that, you're able to show up to things that happen where you are responsive instead of reactive. You really have this feeling of more self-control when you have these breath practices. Then you can also, again, go play a sport that you've always wanted to play, or go play a sport that you used to play that you want to get back into. Do one thing every single day that is 100% for you. It'll continue to make you feel like you are, progressing in your life. And what's up, Christy? Good to see you. Love your morning meetings, going on 4 days and getting back to rehab. Proud of you, Christy. Proud of you. And I remember when I had 5 days. When I had 5 days this time, and this is the only time I've ever gotten over 30 days. And I felt like I had arrived. I like really, really felt like I had arrived because I saw this really clear vision of how I was going to do this. Because I had the pieces in place, I had the sponsor, I had these different things that were in place where I was like, oh my gosh, if I do this, I'm going to recover. So it's 100% possible to know that right at 4 days. And whatever you got to do it now. It's time. And then something that I practice that I recommend to everybody. This is a really, really strong practice. Before you go to bed every night, write down some things that you're going to do in the morning before you leave for work or before you leave for your first responsibility. And I do a list of six things that I'm going to do tomorrow that are the priorities. You can start with one. Start writing down one thing you're doing in the morning before you are going to work or going to the responsibility. That one thing that you are doing fully for yourself. It's fully for your own progress, fully for your own development. And that way you know that you're giving yourself some time. You're giving yourself that time. And this helps you to win the morning. If you get the feeling of progress, you get the feeling of like, I'm taking care of myself, my personal development, I'm caring for myself in the morning, you're able to carry that into the rest of the day. You're able to carry that feeling into the whole day and continue to, know that at least you started this morning on working on yourself only. And now you're going out to work, you're going to do all your responsibilities, everything, but you know that you're progressing from what you did for yourself this morning. Okay. And then I had 15 months once and need to get back to that healthy mindset. I'm an internal list person and I have a routine. Always go for a walk in the morning. Love it, Christy. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And there's things for me. I have a routine and I'm about to share it with you guys, but I continue to change up my routine. I continue to change up my practices when I learn something that I think could serve me better and help me progress even better. And this is actually something I started another one today, literally today, because usually in the morning, I wake up immediately 5 a.m. and I hop in the cold plunge, 34-degree water. And I hop in there, I dunk in, and I stay in there for 7 to 12 minutes and then go to the gym. And when I get back from the gym, I do all my spiritual practice, read my Bible, do my journal, read, whatever other spiritual book that I'm reading at the time. And what I added back in today that I hadn't been doing for a while was reading 10 pages of a self-help book or a entrepreneurial book or positive book. And I'm doing it at the gym, adding in some cardio also. So I do my 40-minute 45-minute weightlifting routine, then I go over to the treadmill and I walk on the treadmill and I read this book. And this is something, it's adding into my routine, something that I know I want to do. And it helps me to know that I'm progressing not only by doing all the stuff that I continue doing, but by adding other things in that don't take up too much more time, but make a huge impact. Like this morning, the 10 pages of this book that I read, boom, gave me an idea. Literally gave me an idea that's going to change the way that I do something. So I'm excited about that. So number 2, this is big. Write down your personal goals at least once a month. At least once a month. I do this every single day. I'm tracking my goals. I'm tracking what I'm doing and seeing where I'm going and what I'm trying to do. And if you do this, if you haven't been practicing this in your life, like where you really like legitimately write down your goals, Do it just once for the following 30 days. For the next month, write down three things, just three things that you want to accomplish over the next month that will inspire you, right? And a really cool practice for the three goals, have it in three areas of your life: health, vocation or avocation, so like your work or your service work, and then a spiritual thing, something spiritual. So it could be, I want to, or this month, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week for 45 minutes, and you write that down as a goal. And then you say, I'm also going to find one person per week to on the streets that's hurting, to give $5 to, and give them a message. Tell them, I used to struggle with addiction and I'm in recovery now. If you need anything, I would love to take you to a meeting or something like that. Just something simple like that for the avocation work. And then spiritual, this month, every morning, I am going to pray for the people I'm going to see that day. Having this goal, right? This list of goals where you are focused on where you want to go. You're intentional about where you want to go, and you write it down so that you really understand what you're trying to do this month. You will accomplish things like this at a hugely higher rate than if you just like think about them every once in a while, right? If you write down, this month, I am praying every morning for the people I'm going to see this day, your mind is going to think about that every single morning when you wake up. And then at the end of the month, when you track that, when you read that goal that you wrote down 30 days earlier, and you say, hey, I actually, I did that almost every single morning, you know and then for the following month, you write down, I want to make sure I do that every morning, and you write that down as a goal. And then eventually you're going to start falling in love with this, because you're going to recognize all the different ways that you're growing in your life that you actually want. Instead of just responding to the way things come at you, you're going to be able to intentionally write down things that you want to make happen in your life, and you take responsibility for them and you make them happen. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you literally prayed every single morning for everybody that you're going to see that day? And you went to the gym. Imagine this. You went to the gym, if you're not right now, 3 times per week for 45 minutes. And could you imagine if you went out intentionally at least once a week to find someone on the streets that's hurting in addiction, to give them $5 and a message? Could you imagine what just those three things would do for your life? And if you tracked them and made sure you did them, it's a wonderful, wonderful practice. I highly, highly, highly recommend writing down your goals at least once a month. Good day, mate. Morning. What's up, Aaron? Good to see you, bro. Or whatever time it is over there. I'm sure it's like midnight or something over there. And then one more. There's one more thing that we're going to talk about today. And this is falling in love with the process instead of falling in love with the things that we are going for. Fall in love with the process of achieving the goals rather than achieving the goals themselves. And what I mean by this, and the reason why I tell you this is something that I have experienced in my life extremely, extremely deeply. Okay. When I wrote my book, From Chains to Saved, I was so focused on getting this book out. I was so focused on making sure I get it out for my 2 years clean and sober. And I was so focused on, writing it and working really hard and making sure that I get it out, because I had 5 weeks to write it, that in the moment, I wasn't really taking the time to enjoy the process of writing it, which when I look back, I really, really, really enjoyed the entire process of the work, the entire process of having these revelations while I'm writing my book and going over to the living room and crying and like falling on the ground and thanking God and like things like that. That literally happened while writing my book. And then when the book was actually out, became a bestseller and these kinds of things, the feeling of accomplishment from that happening was very fleeting and very short. Very fleeting, very short. And I actually had more of that feeling during the process of doing the work to make it happen than I did when it actually happened. So, creating a process that you do day in and day out, that you are working towards a better life for yourself, you're progressing for yourself and for the community around you, enjoying that process is where life actually is. That's where we're going to find the true joy in life is when we are looking at the process of living, the process of progress, the process of living our life at our peak potential, at our best that we possibly can today. That's where joy is. Joy is in the progress and the work that we do to become the person that we're supposed to be. It's not about becoming that person, because how could we possibly become the person that we're supposed to be? Because once we're there, there's actually something that we're supposed to become. So there's not something that we are trying to achieve where we're like, yes, it's in the process, the work that you're putting in the moment. So it's a lot to enjoy. There's a lot to enjoy. I love getting up in the morning. Like, my alarm is set for 5 a.m. But lately, for the last like few weeks, I've been up at 4:30. Like, I can't help it. Just for some reason, my body's like, dude, let's go. and I get up and immediately run out, and I get in 34-degree water, and I dunk my head, and I'm in there for like 7 to 12 minutes, getting my body good, like telling my mind, like, you don't tell me what to do. When we say we're doing something, we do it. And then I go to the gym, and then I come here, and I just spend time with God, and I get all my goals out and do all this stuff. I love the process of doing all that. It's something that makes me feel like it doesn't matter what the results are. I'm doing what I need to do to make those results possible. And when we talk about, the grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The results we can't change. The process that we do, the actions that we take, we are in control of. And that's what's actually going to give us the opportunity to set up God doing what he does with the results. We have to do what we are in control of and enjoy the whole process. 12 years clean, 7 years sober, never worked on my recovery. I've been starting that now that I've found clarity. Amen, Michael, good work. There's some people that literally can just say, I'm done. And hats off to you, Michael. I don't know what would have had to happen in my life to make it so I could say do that without working on the program. I had to work in order to find recovery. So that's awesome, Michael. And how are you working on it? What are you doing to work on it now that's different? And how's the experience for you? Morning, Jessica. Love you too. What's up? I wish you were closer. I so would have you mentor my Elijah. I mean, the beautiful thing about the state of the internet now is that there's this cool thing called like Zoom and Google Meet and all kinds of stuff. And I happen to talk to a lot of people basically every single day. I'm in Colombia. I'm in Medellin, Colombia right now. And I'm able to coach, mentor, do programs, talk to people every single day, right from where I'm at. So it's a beautiful thing. Love you all so much. I hope you got some value from this show, and that you are going to get out there and love and enjoy the process of living life. Love you all so much. Enjoy your week and keep living recovered on purpose.